Also in the bulletin, Tema oil refinery workers demand dissolution of the board. Plus some international news this afternoon as Kenyan President William Ruto announces major cabinet reshuffle. Come through. You're welcome to the broadcast. Let's begin this afternoon with a mass exodus of teachers from Ghana raising major concerns this afternoon. The National Teacher Council says 10,000 teachers from Ghana have been certified to teach in the United Kingdom this year alone. Now, this development comes in the wake of the United Kingdom adding Ghana to a list of countries from which teachers get authorization to teach without undergoing further training. The world is today celebrating teachers on the theme, "The teachers we need for the education we want," the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization says 44 million teachers are needed globally to meet educational targets by 2030. But what exactly is the teacher to education ratio we see in the country? And on your screens right now, we know that UNESCO is estimating that 44 million additional teachers need to be recruited to meet the universal primary and secondary education targets set for 2030. Now, out of this, 15 million teachers are needed in sub-Saharan Africa alone, which Ghana is a major part of. And the secondary education needs more teachers than primary education. The teachers are needed to fill new posts and posts that are vacant due to teacher attrition and teachers relocating from countries. But if you're paying attention to the teacher attrition in focus, UNESCO is defining that as the number of personnel leaving the profession in a given year. And the departures are attributed to retirement, health reasons, family obligations, taking a job in another country, another field, or death. But what exactly is Ghana's situation? And you'd also see that on your screen. Now, in Ghana's situation, the National Teaching Council says 10,000 teachers from Ghana have been certified to work in the United Kingdom without any further assessment this year. And the pupil-to-teacher ratio in primary schools in Ghana, that was reported as 26.99 in 2019. And this is one teacher teaching at least 26 students. For the ratio for secondary education, it is 15.17 in 2019. And that is also translated as one teacher teaching at least 15 students. Now, experts recommend that countries must progressively aim not to exceed 20 children per teacher and ideally meet a target of one teacher to 10 students. Well, at various parts of the country and some other teacher training colleges, let's cross over to the Ashanti region where my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar has been gauging the atmosphere there in relation to teachers who have the desire to leave the country to pursue other opportunities or avenues elsewhere in other countries. Ibrahim, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. What is the situation in the Ashanti region? What have you been picking up on teacher trainees? What have they been telling you on their desire to leave the country?
Well, Crosby, I'm even currently at the St. Louis Teacher Education College, and currently they are writing their exams. But before they began, I briefly engaged with some of the trainees regarding that. In fact, interestingly, even before they are done with schooling and even posted, most of them have that in their mind that when they get the opportunity, they will leave the country because they are looking at their predecessors and their colleagues who have completed school and started teaching and comparing their condition of service to that of those who have been able to have the opportunity to move abroad, and specifically the United Kingdom. You can see the difference. And we all know the rising cost of living in the country, juxtapose it with the salary that they are earning here. So for most of them, the little opportunity that they get, they will not have a second thought of it than to just leave the country. But Crosby, I will briefly engage because this is a worrying development, even for the tutors here, because for them, every year they churn out so many teachers outside the country, yet you move to the schools and you realize there are shortages of teachers. And for them, they are also worried because they give their all out and train these teachers only for them to also leave the country. Let me briefly engage with one of the SIGTAG executives here at St. Louis Training College, who is a tutor here. How worrying is this development? Because we are told more and more teachers keep leaving the shores of the country.
Actually, it's very, very worrying. Because looking at the fact that you use the nation's resources to train teachers, and then at the end, they leave for other countries, it's worrying. But what can you say? And it's not an issue with only the students we are turning out. Even the colleges of education tutors are leaving. As I know, those in the secondary schools and even the basic level are also leaving. Why? Because they want to seek for greener pastures. So if conditions in the country, the rising cost of living, and if you compare it with that of your salary that you're earning, and there's an opportunity at the other side of the grass, then everybody will leave. So it's so much worrying.
What do you think can be done to prevent this from happening?
All right, so I think what the government can do is to kind of meet the demands of teachers in terms of allowances, in terms of salaries. Of course, we cannot compare ourselves to all other professions, and then we cannot also be same as other countries. But if the conditions of living here is a bit conducive, if how much you are receiving can commensurate with how much you are spending, then I think people will stay, because everybody will want to be at home. Actually, if you want to be a good citizen, you need to be at home and then cater for what your country needs. But if things continue to be the same, I think people want to leave.
But personally, do you also have that, given the opportunity, are you going to leave?
Interestingly, I think so if the conditions are same like we are talking about, then it's not myself, but I think everybody will want to leave. Yes, because everybody wants a better living condition. Okay, but like I said, if conditions improve, then I'm sure we will try to contribute the letter that we have to the development of our nation.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Crosby, so you see, not only the trainee teachers or even the teachers at the basic level, even those at the tertiary level, most of them are leaving because of conditions of poor conditions of service.
Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us. Ibrahim Abubakar joined us from the Ashanti region. We'll be painting a picture of what the situation is like in the Greater Accra region. But let's hear from the Education Minister, Dr. Yaosei Aduchum, who says government only has problems with the deployment of teachers. He was speaking at this year's celebration of World Teachers' Day in Takoradi.
I'm so happy to observe that Ghana is one of the few countries in the world where there's no teacher shortage. We have a deployment challenge. We have so many people waiting in the wings to come and teach. You may go to an urban classroom where there are 2 teachers in the classroom, and you go to Sabsugu and we have a shortage. I'm happy that Dr. Nkansa has committed that we're going to ensure that this deployment challenge is no longer the case in the next few months. If there's a need to pay transfer grants, we'll pay it so that teachers can go to the places that need them the most. And we can forever put to rest this illusion that there's a shortage when there's no shortage. There are so many people who are waiting to be posted, to go and teach. And when we get clearance, we do that. We are one of the few countries in the world where you can get 100 teachers today if you want them. So our universities have done a good job, but we need to do a better job in the deployment process. And we are going to do just that. You see, politicians, sometimes we don't do ourselves a favor. We are worst enemies. Worst enemies in the sense that if you look at the work Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has put into education, somebody can look at you, say with a straight face that he has done nothing.
Well, the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Association in the country, they are a major stakeholder in this regard. Let's speak with Adukwe Ayikwe-Awule for some reactions to this worrying trend and just opposing that against the comments by the Education Minister that the problem is only that of deployment. Mr. Awule, thank you for joining us on the program. Good afternoon to you. Talk to us about how serious the situation is. Awule, if you can hear me, I'd like for you to unmute your microphone, please.
Sorry, thank you very much. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to wish all teachers a happy Teachers' Day on behalf of the President of CCT, Mr. Kenali Awudu. Yes, I think it's been a problem. Just this morning, I'm in Accra. I know two of my colleague teachers, they came to me that they want passports. And I asked them why. And the main reason is that they want to leave. So it is really a problem. Just this year, I have about 6 colleagues who have left the country, mostly to the United Kingdom. So talking about the attrition rate, it is really true. If you have more teachers and then you train them, you employ them, and then at the end of the day, they leave, then you need to employ again. At the end of the day, you are not trying to secure the teachers we need. You think you have enough. So those that are already there that have been trained and they are more experienced can leave. And then you bring in new ones. I think this is something that we should look at. So first of all, I think one of the main problems that is culminating in this attrition of teachers to Europe is compensation. But it is not compensation alone. It is also due to the resources that are not available and the lack of conducive teaching environment. I think this thing should also be looked at, because it is not necessarily that all teachers would like to travel to Europe just to go and teach because they will be compensated very well. Some might like to even stay in Ghana and then sacrifice. But if you have classrooms like what we are showing right now, with children sitting on the floor, what is you are showing on TV right now, I think this one alone would even discourage that teacher. So the moment there is an opportunity for this teacher to leave the country, that teacher will definitely go. So these are some of the programs, and it is very, very worrying. Government must sit up and do the right thing.
Is it a problem of the nation losing touch of reality? When I mean the nation, I'm talking about the stakeholders in education, losing touch with reality when it comes to the challenges in the sector, or it's something they cannot do anything about? According to the minister, it's only a challenge of deployment and not the availability of the teachers.
Thank you very much. I think if you have a challenge, what is the main challenge when it comes to deployment? I think the whole issue is about political expedience, where we need to invest and what we are supposed to do to ensure that we have quality education, what we are supposed to do to ensure that well-trained teachers are kept into the system. They have to go through continuous professional development, and then they will stay to help the country. We are not doing it due to political expedience. We rather want to invest in areas that we can shout to everybody and say that this political head, this president or this political party has been able to achieve this, so vote for me again. But the core issue is not being addressed. We are in a digitized age as we speak now. We have even started a new curriculum. The Common Core program has started at the junior high school level. Very soon, it will continue at the senior high school level. For those in the junior high school, we have the first batch going to basic 9, that is JHS 3, what we call JHS 3. And then we also have basic 10, so they'll go and continue in the senior high school. But I can tell you, we don't have any textbooks. We know for the primary side, there are some few textbooks. But when you come to the junior high school, not a single textbook have been provided. Government will say that we have provided a teacher's handbook and a resource pack, teacher's resource pack, and learner's resource pack. We only have learners and teacher's resource pack for basic 7, that is JHS 1. JHS 2, we've taught them, no resource pack, no textbooks. They are now in JHS 3, we are going to teach them. And the minister seems not to know about this. They know it. They can invest into the production of these textbooks. But due to political expediency, what they want the people to see, that this is what we have done. So the president has done well, so vote for me. That is what they are looking at. So they should look at the core problem and then resolve it accordingly.
For the teachers at these colleges of education, the ones lecturing or teaching the soon-to-be teachers, they are also concerned about this. From where you sit, what majorly is their concern and how can that be addressed?
Thank you. I think their concerns are very, very relevant. They are even training new teachers. Now, the teachers that are coming out of the colleges of education are coming with a first degree. So it means we have really invested in them for 4 good years. And so if they should come out and all that they will do is to seek for greener pastures, then I think it is very, very unfortunate. But for the teacher also in the colleges of education, we also need to take very good care of them, as well as looking at those that are teaching in our basic and then secondary schools. We need to look at them very, very well. So they should look at compensation, they should look at continuous professional development, and then conducive teaching environment. I think if government really looks at these 3 things and then provide the needed resources, some might leave, but a majority might like to stay in their home, in their home country.
Awole, thank you.
In the academic performance of it.
Adukwe Awole is the Communications Director of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. Let's get onto the phone lines and speak with Dr. Peter Anti, the Executive Director of the Institute for Educational Studies. Dr. Anti, thank you for joining us on the program. Now, you are also a major stakeholder in the education sector with the latest trend of teacher exodus in the country. From where you sit, what do you think is accounting for this exodus? Is it different from what everybody else is talking about? Dr. Anti, I'd like for you to unmute. I'll be grateful.
Good. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I want to say a big thank you to all teachers and all teachers in Ghana and across the globe. Yes, I think that everyone in the education sector knows the biggest challenge of the teaching profession, and that is the amount of money that they receive at the end of the month, and also when they have worked for all these years, what they take home. I mean, their pension benefits. I have said that we need to have a second look at how we treat teacher welfare in the country. And in talking about teacher welfare, we have to not look at only the financial bit of it. We also have to create a conducive atmosphere where the teacher can access housing, where the teacher can access a decent means of transport, where the teacher can access a good health system, where the teacher can get good school for the world to attend. When these things are in place and you are able to pay the teacher a decent amount of money, the teacher, I think, would be willing to stay. Because what we do not realize is that we are investing in the teachers, especially when you get to the training colleges. We are paying them allowances. When you go to the universities, government is subsidizing their tuition fee. So we are investing in these teachers, and we need to get the benefit of this investment that we are making. So if at the end of the day, these teachers that we have invested in do not serve the country and they leave the shores of the country, it is a big loss to us. And I think that the leaders, the authorities should sit down and find ways and means to improve on the general welfare of the teacher. A young teacher enters the profession with enthusiasm, and he wants to contribute his quota to the system. What are the things that we put in place for this young chap to go through the system and not feel weary or give up on the strength and the energy that he enters the profession with. These are the conversations that we need to have. And I think that when we're able to do that, we'll be able to minimize. Of course, we can't prevent people from traveling, especially when you look at the balance, I mean, the difference in terms of the remuneration that they will get outside the country. But when you're able to do our things well, we will be able to keep majority of these people that are coming out of the educational system and are being trained to go and help with our kids in the
Dr. Anti, let's try and prefer solutions to this challenge. In the short to medium term, what can be done?
In the short to medium term, I think there are certain things that are in the collective agreement for teachers that the teacher unions and the Ministry of Education should sit down and begin to implement. I'll focus on the allowances that are supposed to go to teachers that go to rural settings. These teachers are supposed to get certain allowances. There are things that are supposed to be given to them. Even in terms of their promotion, they are supposed to be treated in a different way because they are set postings to the rural settings. Are we doing these things? I also want to talk about the kind of extra duty allowances that are supposed to give to teachers that do additional kind of administrative work when on campuses. Are we paying them the requisite amount of money that they need? You can also look at certain allowances like transport allowance, looking at the time that where the teacher stays in terms of commutation from the house to wherever the school is. Some of these things can be done just within the next month to 2 months, or even within the next 6 months. When the leaders sit down and they look at all these things, they can come up with these things and then support the teacher in the meantime. But in the longer period, we need to understand that we need a broader welfare scheme to keep the teacher, not only the financial aspect, but in all areas of the teacher's life.
Dr. Anti, thank you so much. Dr. Peter Anti is an educationist speaking with us there, and just as it happened with the situation of the nurses, this is beginning to cause major problems in the education sector of the country. Well, to some other subjects, happenings in the nation, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Adesing, has dismissed calls by the opposition, the National Democratic Congress and the Minority Caucus in Parliament for him to resign. Dr. Adesing, in an interview with international business website Central Banking, said he is not stepping down, describing the protest by the NDC as, quote, completely unnecessary. Dr. Adesing also rejected the claims by the minority that he printed money to finance the lavish lifestyle of the ruling government. According to him, the Bank of Ghana provided monetary financing during 2020 and 2022 to meet specific crises, which he says is legal under the central bank law. The central bank posted losses totaling 60.81 billion cedis for the 2022 financial year, as against a profit of 1.23 billion cedis recorded in 2021. Well, the governor's comments have not gone down well with the minority group. Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has accused the governor of arrogance and disrespect for the people.
Which democratic, constitutional route that citizens of this country adopt? Demonstrations are part of our fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution. Today, he is calling people who are demonstrating hooligans. I mean, I really don't want to believe that those words, those insulting words, those derogatory words, those condescending words came from the governor of our central bank, a governor who has broken all laws. Elsewhere, he will be in jail long ago. This governor is virtually insulting all of us who believe that demonstrations are important tools in the democratic toolkit.
As a result of the back and forth between the minority and conditions governing the central bank and the comments by the governor of the Bank of Ghana. But we'll hear from Dr. Patrick Asuming shortly. But in the meantime, the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, is requesting Parliament's leadership to address the central bank's current crisis. Speaking exclusively to TV3, the former finance minister stated that the House has the power to address the challenges while maintaining the sanctity of the central bank.
Very powerful institution. You know that? Yeah. They are so powerful that they control the pace. You understand? Parliament can order the governor. They can order the Minister of Finance. When I was the Minister of Finance, I'll be going there every year to present the budget on behalf of my president. And as soon as I put the document down, I'll be in their hands. Parliament could say, look, go back and tell your president, we will not allow him to spend more than 80% of this. They have the power to say so. I was expecting that the secretary and the team will be there to receive the minority of the leaders of the protest.
Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this and speak with Dr. Patrick Asuming, an economist with the University of Ghana Business School. Doc, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. You followed the back and forth and the conversations concerning the governor of the central bank and the posture of the minority, plus the governor's disposition. From where you sit, what does this say and what impact could it have on investor confidence?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to you, and thanks for having me. I think it's all unfortunate. It was all looking, first of all, we are in a democratic dispensation, so this is what you expect. Daughters have been incurred, people are unhappy, and they are demonstrating. I think that is fine. For me, it was quite a shock to read the way the governor characterized the demonstration. I think that is not the kind of language you expect from a central bank governor. One that is a public official paid with taxpayers' money. I think that is not something that I find acceptable from the governor. But and what he's going to do is going to serve to increase the tension around the leadership of the central bank, and all of that brings some uncertainty. That's not very helpful. So, I mean, we know that the minority position has been clear, and this demonstration was coming on. I don't think it was necessary at all for the government to take that.
Right, Doc, from where you sit, how should all of this be handled so that it does not impact negatively on investor confidence in the country, bearing in mind what it is already doing with the comments you've just passed?
At present, I don't think that this will spook investors yet. I think there isn't any clear sign that there's going to be a change of leadership at the Bank of Ghana. I think generally, if there's some uncertainty about what may happen or what may not happen, that's where investors get very concerned. At the moment, it appears that there's no movement by way of either the government to move the governor or by the governor and the deputies to move. But if this continues, then the rising uncertainty and tension will begin to bite. I don't think we've gotten to that point yet.
Dr. Asuming, thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Patrick Asuming is an economist with the University of Ghana Business School. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Cross-Biano. Going for a break. We're back with more stories. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Hello! Have you heard of the Franco air condition, specially made to fit the Ghanaian weather? It has authentic capabilities, which is the original sizes ranging from the 1.5 horsepower, 2.0 horsepower, and the 2.5 horsepower. So if you are looking for an air condition to fit your homes, offices, schools, hotels, apartments, churches, it's Franco Trading Enterprise. For bulk purchases, look no further than Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise, the home of quality air conditioning.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders, and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down.
Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations.
Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
The past 12 weeks of this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful competition, contestants have been on a journey of sheer determination, showcasing great talent and the rich culture of our beautiful nation on the Ghana's Most Beautiful stage. 5 beautiful ladies, Na Ayele, the courageous one from the Greater Accra region, Adwanigi, the bold one from the Upper East region, Selom, the ambitious one from the Volta region, Kwatma, the determined one from the Bunu region, and Nura, the assertive one from the Northern region. Come 8th of October at the National Theatre, dreams will be realized and one of these exceptional ladies will be crowned Ghana's Most Beautiful 2023. Keep pushing your favorite contestants to win the most coveted crown, the cash and the car by voting to the short code *713 *13# on all mobile networks. You can also download the TV3 Reality app on App Store or Play Store. It will be an amazing night of glitz and glamour. Grab your tickets for a cool 50 Ghana cedis and come support your favorite queen on the 8th of October at the National Theatre, 8 p.m. sharp. Ghana's Most Beautiful, Ghana's Beauty, Africa's Pride.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubuna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Shalatem, Top Choco.
Save 500.
Global Wings Travel and Tour.
Makeup was done by House of Tara.
Mac Brown's Kitchen. Mac Brown's Kitchen.
I'm ready to send me to Mac Brown's Kitchen. New season, new stations. Hey, Mac Brown's Kitchen. Oh, now I TV so I check. I knew who you check, but then I'm here. And Chakrano, but TV3. Mimi Devia, Anne, 5 to 6 p.m. Nana Yabasha Wati, Minimum Kunum, my Basha Sasako, Ghana Fodo.
McBrown's Kitchen, premiering Saturday, October 7 at 5 p.m. on TV3.
The expert at anything was once a beginner.
I seek for unmatched work experience that will prepare me for the real job.
Internship can help you stand out in a competitive job market.
I want to be an intern in one of Ghana's most reputable companies.
In the heart of the corporate world, there's a search for the next top intern.
On this journey, some aspiring interns will get to embark on an unforgettable adventure.
These interns will face a series of real-world challenges and tasks.
For the next top intern on the Top Intern reality show, ambition meets determination. From the tasks to the boardroom to alliances and to winning. Who will be the ultimate top intern? Get ready for an epic internship showdown. To be part of this reality show, aspiring participants should have at least a second-class upper and above. Register now at forms.mg.com.gh/topintern. Who sweeps the top prize of an internship at a reputable company, cash prizes, and many more?
Are you the one?
For the top intern we're looking for, be you?
The Top Intern. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's get some sports news, and the GFA is in the news. Kevin Osonsa has all the details again. Kevin, good to see you.
Nice seeing you. Well, let's get on to the GFA elections. And President Keto Kreko has retained his seat in the elections with an impressive 97.1% of votes, with just 2 opposing the votes that were cast this morning. Other portfolios, former Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah has been voted onto the Executive Council with Chief Executive Officer for Ghana Women's Premier League side Berry Ladies Gifty Owari Mensah getting elected as the Women's League representative of the Ghana Football Association. Well, my colleague Yao Ofosolabi is at the Ridash Hotel in Tamale, where the elective congress was held. He's given us more. Carl, what's the latest from Tamale?
Promote the sport to an unbelievable level. Now, particularly the Africa Cup of Nations that is set to begin in January, and then the World Cup that will begin a bit later on in 2026. But first, it will be the qualifiers that will get through in there as well. Now, it wasn't just the president that was voted for. The members of the Executive Council were also voted for. In the Division 1, there were 3 members who were voted. One member who lost the seat, Sami Enimado, already lost the seat there. He could not get back onto the Executive Council. And also, Dr. Tony Obin also could not get back on the Executive Council on the Premier League ticket. But one man who performed so well in the Executive Council elections is Dr. Randy Abe. And Doc, if Dr. is here, could join me at the moment there. And Doc, thank you so much for joining us here on TV3. Now, Doc, you polled 12 votes out of the 18. And what do you think is down to the confidence that the football people showed you today?
Well, first of all, I must say that I'm extremely grateful for the confidence that they reposed in me. And it gives me a lot of encouragement to work harder. I believe that in the football community we know ourselves. And I think that this is a testament to how well they've seen me work for the association in the last 4 years, and probably even preceding the last 4 years. And for me, it's a vote of confidence to even do much more for the Premier League and the development of Ghana football.
Now, in the president's speech, he spoke about unity. He spoke about promoting football to different heights than we've seen in the last 4 years. Are you confident that your team, the Executive Council, as well as the President, can achieve that?
Yeah, we have what it takes to do that. We need to engage a lot more. We've been engaging, but we need to engage a lot more. We need to also embrace a lot more. We do that, but we need to embrace a lot more opinions outside the ESCO. And I think that we need to work in unison, and it takes 2 to tango. I mean, you cannot have only one side reaching out. I mean, all of us must appreciate that the football economy I mean, if it turns out well, it's something that is going to be beneficial for all. And so we all need to put our shoulders to the wheel and work as a united front to ensure that we're able to develop the game and create value for Ghana football and also be beneficiaries of that value as well.
Now, finally, as a member of the EXCO, 2 Ghanaian clubs have made it into the group stage of the Pan-African Club competitions. What is the FA going to do as a body to help these 2 clubs make it past the group stage?
Well, first of all, the FA really did well for these 2 clubs and supported them tremendously to be able to get into the zone. And we've not been there in a long while. For the Champions League, I think that we've not been there for about 11 years. For the Confederations, I think it's about 3 years or 4 years. And so it's good we're there. We're going to appreciate a lot more points as far as our rankings in the club competitions are concerned. And we would give the clubs whichever support that they require from the FA to be able to do well. And we hope that it would be part of the building blocks towards a more successful outing for our clubs in the continental competition.
Doc, thank you so much for joining and congratulations. So that was Dr. Randy Abe there speaking to us. You're still live on Midday Live on TV3, and we are talking the GFA elections, and already it's just ended, and Keto Kreku has retained his seat. But there's one man here who came so close, but yet he still couldn't get onto the executive council. My senior colleague, very good friend Eloy Amande. Eloy, it must have been hard.
Losing heads. But yeah, it is what it is.
But you came close. You did so well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the delegates sort of understood what we're trying to communicate, that we wanted to come onto the EXCO and help the game move forward. And I think that, yeah, we did a first round, we did a second round, and then the third round, things went the way they went. But we take it on our chin. Like, we're football people. The guys on the radio say it all the time, win, loss, draw, whatever it is. We couldn't have drawn today. It's a World Cup final. It has to be decided. So it was decided, and yeah, we will lick our wounds. We will assess what we did right. We'll assess what we could have done better and consult the people that we have to consult with, and then hope that in 4 years' time, we do this again.
Eloy, thank you so much. Commiserations. And so that's Mr. Eloy Amande, who was also vying to get onto the executive council body. Now, joining me also is the vice president of the FA, Mr. Mark Addo. Mr. Addo, you did so well in the Division 1 elections there, polling 32 votes and getting on the EXCO again. What do you think is down to the confidence that the people showed in you today?
I guess it's a reflection of the president's mandate and the work he's done for 4 years with the EXCO, and me being the vice president, supporting him in everything we've done. So I think that's just a reflection of it, especially the delegates who see all. I always tell people that the delegates people should give them more credit than they do, because they know they're on the ground, they own teams, and if you own a team before in the previous years and currently you probably know there's a lot of work being done. There's a lot of opportunities for them. So look, it's not it's not 100%, but there's still a lot of work to do. So we're just pushing forward to see how fast we can improve Ghana football and how fast we can get our teams competitive at a national level.
Well, finally, before you go, you're sitting on the EXCO as a member from the Division 1 League. Now, the Division 1 League has always been a crucial point because there are more teams trying to get into the Premier League and all of that. Now, how are we going to look at a different structure of the Division 1 League to make it a bit more lucrative and appealing for people to watch?
Okay, that's a good question. It's a lot of hard work ahead of us, and I know that my colleagues will sit down and we will find a way to make it more competitive. Obviously, I mean, we have 48 teams, but we have to find a way to make it competitive so that we can also attract a lot more sponsorship like other countries have done. But like I said, it's a lot of hard work ahead of us, and this sets the platform, this sets the stage. The hard work begins from tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Mr. Addo. That was Mr. Mark Addo, also Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, retaining his seat on the Division 1 League Board, as retaining his seat on the Executive Council as a member from the Division 1 League. He polled 32 votes out of the 48 votes that he got in there, and it's an incredible atmosphere. And the GFA Congress, the elective Congress, has just come to an end. Keto Kreku has retained his seat on the ESCO as well. Dr. Tony Obin could not get back on there, but Fred Achi got his place. Dr. Randy Abe is back onto the ESCO as well, and then there's Kingsley Osebones, who is also back on the ESCO, and then Nana Odrosafo also got back his place on the ESCO as well. From the Division 1 League, Sami Enimado could not make it back onto the ESCO. There were places though for Dr. Marcado, Mr. Marcado, who we just spoke to, and also some others, Eugene Niamon, and also one other man who also got onto the ESCO from the Division 1 League. So it's been a gathering of football, really, a gathering of excitement of football people in here, and the elections are done. Now a total of 124 members were supposed to gather here. Only 120 made it.
So that is Yao Fosolabede giving us bits and pieces of the current happenings at the GFA Congress. There will be more updates on our subsequent bulletins. My name is Kelvin Owusu. Business News comes up next.
Well, from sports, let's take some business news with Manu Aful. Manu, the Tema Oil Refinery is in the news. Some unpleasant happenings there.
Yeah, actually, some aggrieved members are calling for the board to be dissolved. We got the details in our bulletin. Carry on. Thank you so much. Welcome to the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Manu Aful. We'll start off with Tema Oil Refinery, where workers are demanding the dissolution of the board. The aggrieved workers have been speaking to the media about the Torenco deal and why they want the board dissolved.
On the blind side of the 99% of Tema Oil Refinery workers and executive management, some few executives of TOR, local union executive UNICOF, have secured an agreement with Torenco to incorporate an entity by guarantee in order benefit from 20% shares in the new SPV, Tema Energy and Processing Limited, without recourse to workers and management. If this gesture or decision ticks the prudence, ethics and conflict of interest boxes, shouldn't it have gone through management for a comprehensive workforce engagement and establishment of the right modality and the structures? Unless this is just a cover-up to reward this section of workers, executives, who also double as Torenco surrogate within the refinery. We are by this press release pleading with His Excellency, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to restore maturity in the corporate governance at all board level for integrity-driven decision. We are also calling on the President to dissolve this incompetent board. We equally seek to remind the executive management, especially the acting managing director, to do the needful with the evidence available to establish orderliness in TOR.
In more stories, in government's efforts to address its debt levels through a debt exchange program, the Dean of Research and Graduate Studies at GIMPA is urging the removal of a premixed fuel subsidy as a measure to ease the country's financial burden by up to $40 million annually. Professor Wisdom Aplaku made this proposal while speaking at the EFD Ghana Policy Day event, jointly organized by ISE and GIMPA.
Right now, you are spending money on something that is not productive. So just save that money. It is not money coming from anywhere. So you are going to save that money. And when you save it, deploy it in a way that you can create jobs and solve problems in fishing communities. So I think it's a win-win for government. For now, the way that money is being used, potentially used, is not productive. So you are just saving money from wasting it, basically throwing your money in the dustbin, and rather saving that money and using it for something productive, saving lives, providing jobs, financing good schools, hospitals, etc. within fishing communities. So improving the overall livelihood of people in those fishing communities. And I think it's a positive thing to do. There is no loss to it.
Well, away from that, Fisheries and Aquaculture Ministry has revealed some 14 trawlers that were operating in the country's waters have ceased operations due to the strict regulation in the space. Speaking at the sidelines of the EFD Ghana Policy Day organized by ISE and GIMPA, Deputy Sector Minister Moses Enim stated the vessels failed to meet Ghana's licensing requirements, hence did not have the permit to operate.
Match the heat, so they decided to leave, but we are still holding on to them because we are saying that they should have taken authorization before leaving. So the Fisheries Commission is engaging. We are saying they should put up their transpondent so that we can know where they are, so as long as they are on Ghana's flag, so we know their activities. Either to label them as IUU vessels and use their IMO number, which they cannot change, the International Maritime Organization number, which they cannot change, and use it to label them as IUU. Okay, so 10 of them could not match the heat. As I speak to you, between 35 to 40 last season were able to get their license because we are matching them to the regimental licensing regime that we've put in place.
Meanwhile, Ghana consumes about 1 million tons of fish annually, with imports close to 60% of the fish at a cost of $200 million per year. However, Ghana's fish farming industry is growing at 136% annually. According to Chairman of Chamber of Aquaculture, Dr. Henry Enim Somua, fish farming is a viable alternative to bridge marine fish production gap and eventually for exports.
Our local demand today is quite high. Despite that, currently, I'm sure there are some processed fish that are being exported. A lot of it is coming from freshwater, which is that. So we think that we first really look at the domestic demand first. But on projections in the next 5 to 6 years, if things work as we have planned, then the production of or farm fish, let me put it that way, can expand. The growth today is around 136% per annum for Ghana, which is quite a huge growth. And we're hoping that once the practices are sustainable, then it's easy to expand, and we may see some traction on exports.
And that's it for the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Minwa. For entertainment news is up next with Adwanela. Stay with us.
Welcome to the entertainment segment of the Bulletin. Noella, what's in the package this afternoon?
Well, earlier this year, Idris Elba was in the country and he was able to attend the Akweside Festival for some shots. Apparently, it's in the trailer of a movie that he's working on. So we have the details coming up. Yes, definitely. Let's get into the details of some entertainment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Now, multiple award-winning British Hollywood actor and director Idris Elba visited Ghana earlier this year and made a stopover at the Menchia Palace, partaking in the Akweside Festival as well. Now, it was believed that the visit was originally to shoot a documentary that is the trailer for Gold, a journey with Idris Elba, which has been released. Idris's exploration of modern-day gold market is a part of the World Gold Council's efforts to educate and engage potential investors in understanding the role of gold in the global economy. Now to some more stories. The clock is fast ticking to the grand finale of the 2023 Ghana's Most Beautiful. Now the Bono Ahafo region is yet to win the enviable crown in the 17 years history of the show. The pride of the Bono region, Kwatama, is hoping to leave a legacy as the first lady to win this prestigious crown for her region.
How has the journey been, especially looking at your story and the number of times you've tried?
Frankly speaking, it has not been easy right from the auditioning stage. You have to put yourself together, learn ahead, research, and bring out the best because you don't want your region as well as yourself to fail. So yes, it has never been easy. But we are sailing through, and this far by grace.
Of course, and when we're talking about the Bono region over the years, the region hasn't been able to claim the crown. What do you think you're going to do differently to ultimately claim the crown and probably become the first person from that side to win the crown?
First of all, I'm going to say a very big thank you to my previous queens. They did really well. But this year, with the help of my fans, the votes, I am going to work hard. I am going to bring out the talent, the best in me, so that this year, God willing, the crown will surely come to the Bono region.
The entire journey, what has been your highlights?
First of all, I'll talk about the opportunity itself. It's a highlight for me. And meeting people that I've always wanted to meet.
Life after Ghana's Most Beautiful. That is when you win the crown. What are some of the projects you intend to tackle?
I am going in to be the voice of the talented but needy in the Bono region. I've realized that in my region, sometimes it is not even about money or exposure. People have talent. But then the mentorship is not there. We do not have a particular place where people with such talent can be groomed or can be mentored into what exactly they want to be. And so that is what I want to do after GMB, being the voice of the talented but needy.
Talking about the finale, what is Kwatima bringing on?
Because like I said, we have to take the crown to the Bono region. And you know what I'm bringing on board? Should I even tell you? The surprise will come on that day. But then look forward to a section where you'll be educated about the Bono region. It is enriched in culture. It is a land full of tradition. And so look forward for that.
Your people are watching, your chiefs, your family, your friends, your loved ones who supported you from day one. It's that final week. What do you have to tell them?
My people. People of Ghana, people of Bono money. Ye dear, Penyufoba say we this is the climax of everything. And so as I am bringing my A game, bring your A votes, so that together we will bring the crown to the Bono region.
From trying 5 times to making it to the top 5, that definitely is a success story. Make sure you join us on Sunday, on the 8th of October at the National Theatre for the grand finale of Ghana's Most Beautiful 2023. My name is Nwela Donko. International News is up next.
In international news, this afternoon, Kenyan President William Ruto has announced a major cabinet reshuffle, placing the Foreign Affairs Ministry under the Chief Minister's office and reassigning 7 other ministers. It comes after the president publicly criticized his ministers recently, accusing some of them of being clueless about their portfolios. President Ruto says the changes are meant to optimize performance and enhance service delivery as a result of the administrative manifesto. The Foreign Affairs Ministry will now be headed by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, with the previous Minister Alfred Mutua now heading the Tourism Ministry. Kenya has recently seen a series of opposition protests against the rising cost of living and tax hikes put in place by the government. Well, that's our package for you this afternoon, but there's also more news on our website, 3news.com, if you log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. See you again some other time. Good afternoon to you.